Have you ever had that feeling that someone likes you, but they haven't said a word? No confession, no clear signal, and yet something in the way they look at you, talk to you, or even stand near you feels different. The truth is, attraction is very hard to hide. No matter how composed a man tries to be, his behavior always tells a story. And today, you're about to learn how to read that story so clearly that you'll never have to guess again whether he's into you or just being nice. There's something almost invisible, yet incredibly powerful about the way a man starts to position himself around you when he's genuinely interested. It doesn't come with an announcement. He won't walk up and say, "I'm trying to be near you on purpose." Instead, it shows up in the smallest, almost dismissible moments, the kind most people overlook. He finds reasons, not big, obvious reasons, but subtle ones. Suddenly, he's part of conversations he didn't need to join. He lingers a little longer after everyone else has left. He chooses the seat closer to you, stands within your orbit, or somehow always ends up in the same spaces you're in. And if you really pay attention, you'll notice a pattern. It's not random, it's consistent. What makes this so interesting is that even he might not be fully aware of it. Attraction pulls people in before logic has a chance to step in and organize it. So instead of grand gestures, you see these quiet decisions happening in real time. He walks a slightly longer route just to pass by you. He starts conversations that don't really need to happen. He asks questions he could have easily figured out on his own, all because, at the core of it, being near you feels good to him. And here's where most people get it wrong. They wait for something dramatic to validate interest, a bold move, a clear confession, a moment that removes all doubt. But attraction rarely starts that way. It starts in proximity. It starts in presence. Because when someone is drawn to you, distance feels like resistance, and closeness feels like relief. You might even notice how he reacts when that closeness is taken away. If you're not around, he finds a reason to reconnect. A message, a comment, a quick check-in that seems casual on the surface, but carries intention underneath. It's not about what he says in those moments. It's about the fact that he reached out at all. And sometimes it's not just about being physically near you. It's about staying in your world. He keeps conversations going when they could naturally end. He circles back to topics. He looks for openings to continue engaging, because ending the interaction isn't what he wants. Extending it is. What you're really seeing here is effort disguised as coincidence. And that's important because genuine interest always finds a way to express itself, even when words are being held back. You don't have to decode every little action or overanalyze every move. Just watch the pattern. Watch how often he chooses to be where you are, how naturally he creates moments to connect, how consistently he closes the gap between you and him. Because when someone truly wants to be around you, they don't leave it to chance. They quietly make it happen. And that's the first sign you should never ignore. And once he's found those ways to be around you, something else begins to shift. His attention. Not the casual, distracted kind we give to most people throughout the day, but a focused, almost deliberate kind of attention that feels different the moment you experience it. Because let's be honest, we live in a world where attention is scattered. People check their phones mid-conversation. Their eyes wander, their minds drift. It's become normal to only half listen. So when someone gives you their full attention, it stands out immediately. It feels rare. And when a man is genuinely into you, this is one of the things he simply cannot fake. You'll notice it in the way he listens. He's not just waiting for his turn to speak. He's actually present. He picks up on the small things you say, the details most people would forget within seconds. You might casually mention something about your day, your preferences, or even a random story. And later he brings it up again, not in a forced way, but naturally, as if it mattered enough for him to remember. And that's the key. When someone is interested, what matters to you starts to matter to them. Watch his eyes during a conversation. Are they engaged, steady, connected, or are they scanning the room, looking for something or someone else? A man who's into you doesn't need to look around, because in that moment, you are the most interesting thing in his environment. His focus narrows without effort. Even the way he responds changes. He asks follow-up questions, not out of politeness, but out of curiosity. He wants to understand you, not just hear you. Conversations don't feel surface level with him. There's a depth to the interaction, a sense that he's leaning in mentally and emotionally, not just physically. And here's something subtle but powerful. He creates space for you to speak. He doesn't dominate the conversation or try to impress you constantly. Instead, he gives you room, listens to your thoughts, and values what you have to say. Because when a man is truly interested, he's not just trying to be seen, he's trying to see you. You'll also notice how distractions seem to fade away when he's with you. His phone becomes less important. Notifications can wait. Even if the world around him is busy, he finds a way to stay locked into the moment you're sharing. That kind of presence is not accidental, it's chosen. And it's not just about what happens when you're together. It shows up in how he engages with you over time. He remembers past conversations. He follows up on things you mentioned days or even weeks ago. It tells you that your words didn't just pass through his ears, they stayed with him. This kind of attention is one of the clearest signals of genuine interest because it requires something people don't give lightly anymore: focus, energy, and intention. You can't multitask your way through real connection. You have to choose it. So when you find yourself in a conversation where you feel truly heard, where the other person is fully there with you, where your words seem to land and matter, don't overlook that. Don't downplay it as just someone being nice, because attention is currency and people spend it where they feel something. And when he's consistently investing that level of attention in you, it's telling you exactly where his interest lies. And as that attention builds, something lighter begins to emerge in the dynamic, something that feels effortless, almost playful. This is where you start to notice the teasing, not the kind that puts you down or makes you uncomfortable, but the kind that creates a spark, a back and forth energy that feels alive. Because when a man is into you, he doesn't just want connection, he wants chemistry. And one of the easiest ways for him to create that is through playfulness. It gives him a way to express interest without fully exposing himself. It's safer, more subtle, but incredibly revealing if you know what to look for. He might challenge you on something small, joke about a habit you mentioned, or playfully disagree just to keep the conversation going. And notice the tone. It's light. It's warm. It carries a smile behind it. There's no harshness in it. In fact, it often comes with a kind of curiosity, like he's exploring how you respond, how you engage, how you play along, and that's the real purpose of it. Teasing isn't random, it's an invitation into a different kind of interaction, one that goes beyond polite conversation and starts building emotional tension. It creates moments where both of you are slightly outside your comfort zone, but in a way that feels exciting, not threatening. You might find yourself laughing more around him, responding with your own playful remarks, feeling a rhythm develop between you. That rhythm is important. It's what separates a flat interaction from one that has energy. And when that energy is there, it becomes something both people start to look forward to. What's interesting is that this kind of teasing often shows up even when he's trying to keep things casual. He might not openly compliment you all the time, but he'll find a way to engage with you that feels personal. It's his way of saying, I see you, without having to say it directly. And if you pay attention, you'll notice that he doesn't do this with everyone. Not everyone gets that version of him, because playful teasing requires a certain level of interest and investment. It means he's paying attention to who you are, picking up on details, and using them to create a unique connection with you. There's also a level of testing involved. He's trying to see how you respond, whether you can match his energy, whether you're open to that kind of interaction, whether there's potential for something more. It's subtle, but it matters. Because attraction isn't just about liking someone. It's about discovering if there's compatibility in how you connect. And here's where you need to trust what you feel. If the teasing feels good, if it makes you smile, if it draws you in rather than pushes you away, that's a sign of healthy, genuine interest. But if it ever feels uncomfortable or one-sided, that's something different entirely. The key is in the balance. The best kind of playful energy lifts the interaction, not lowers it. It creates a sense of closeness without pressure. It allows both of you to express interest without needing everything to be serious all at once. So when you notice that shift, when conversations start to carry that spark, that light teasing, that sense of fun, don't dismiss it as just joking around. Look a little deeper, because sometimes what sounds like a joke is actually the most honest thing he's showing you. And that's where attraction starts to feel real. And while all of this is happening, the proximity, the attention, the playful energy, there's another layer unfolding at the same time, one that doesn't rely on words at all. Because no matter how controlled someone tries to be, the body has a way of revealing what the mind is trying to keep subtle. This is where you start to notice his body language, and more importantly, the consistency behind it. Because body language doesn't lie the way words sometimes can. It's instinctive, it's immediate, And when a man is genuinely into you, his body begins to orient itself towards you in ways he's not consciously thinking about. Watch how he positions himself when you're around. Does he turn his body in your direction, even in a group setting? Does he angle his shoulders towards you, his feet pointing where you are? These small details might seem insignificant, but they're powerful indicators of where his focus really is. The body naturally aligns with what it's drawn to. Then there's the way he leans in, not in an obvious or overwhelming way, but subtly closing the distance between you. It's almost as if there's an invisible pull, a desire to be just a little closer, to hear you better, to stay connected in the moment. And often, he won't even realize he's doing it. Eye contact becomes another key signal. Not just quick glances, but sustained, intentional eye contact that lingers a moment longer than usual. It creates a kind of unspoken connection, a pause in the conversation where something deeper is being communicated without a single word. And when that eye contact is paired with a slight smile or a softening in his expression, it becomes even more telling. You might also notice mirroring. This is one of the most natural signs of attraction. If you shift your posture, he unconsciously does the same. If you lean back, he follows. If you gesture while speaking, his movements begin to echo yours. It's not imitation, it's alignment. It's the body's way of saying, we're in sync. And then there are the smaller, almost nervous gestures that slip through. Adjusting his clothes, running a hand through his hair, fidgeting slightly when you're close. These aren't signs of discomfort, they're signs of awareness. He becomes more conscious of himself because you're there, because your presence suddenly matters in a way it doesn't with everyone else. Even the way he reacts when you enter or leave a space can tell you a lot. There's often a shift. His posture straightens, his attention sharpens, his energy changes. And when you walk away, there might be a brief glance, a lingering look, as if part of his focus is still with you even after you're gone. What makes all of this so powerful is that it's incredibly difficult to control. You can choose your words carefully. You can decide what to say and what not to say. But your body responds in real time. It reveals interest, attraction, and attention without filtering it through logic. So instead of overanalyzing what he says, start paying attention to what he shows. Notice the patterns, the consistency, the way his body reacts in your presence versus how it is with others. Because the difference will be there if the interest is real. And when his body keeps leaning towards you, aligning with you, responding to you without hesitation, it's not something you have to question. It's something you can see. And as you start to see all of these signs come together, the way he's around you, the way he listens, the way he engages and connects, there's one thing that begins to stand out more than anything else: effort. Not words, not promises, not potential, but real, consistent effort. Because when a man is truly into you, effort doesn't feel like something he has to be reminded of. It becomes natural. It shows up without pressure, without chasing, without you having to wonder if you're asking for too much. And that's where clarity begins to replace confusion. He initiates. Not every single time, but enough that you don't feel like you're the one carrying the entire connection. He reaches out, he starts conversations, he finds reasons to keep things moving forward, and it doesn't feel forced, it feels intentional. You'll notice how he makes time. And this is important because everyone is busy. Everyone has responsibilities, distractions, things pulling them in different directions. But when someone is genuinely interested, they don't just say they're busy, they show you where you fit within that busyness. They adjust, they prioritize, they create space for you in their life, even if it's in small ways at first. It might look like him checking in during the day, asking how something important to you went, remembering a detail you shared and following up on it. These aren't grand gestures, but they carry weight because they show consistency. And consistency is what separates interest from mere curiosity. He also puts thought into the way he shows up. Whether it's planning something, suggesting an idea, or simply being present when he said he would be, there's a level of reliability that starts to build. You don't feel like you're guessing what mood he'll be in or whether he'll follow through. There's a steadiness to his actions. And here's something that often gets overlooked. Effort isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with dramatic expressions or big declarations. Sometimes it's quiet. It's him remembering what you like and incorporating it into a plan. It's him choosing to stay a little longer, to listen a little deeper, to show up when it would have been easier not to. What matters is that it's there consistently, because when effort is real, you don't have to chase it. You don't have to convince someone to care or to show up or to invest. It happens on its own. And that creates a completely different kind of dynamic, one where you feel valued, not uncertain. You also start to notice that he's not just reacting to you, he's contributing to the connection. He's not waiting for you to lead everything forward. He's meeting you halfway, sometimes even stepping forward first. And that balance is what allows something meaningful to grow. Now, this doesn't mean perfection. There will still be moments where things aren't flawless, where timing isn't perfect, where life gets in the way. But even in those moments, the underlying effort doesn't disappear. It remains visible in how he communicates, how he follows up, how he stays engaged despite the imperfections. And that's what you want to pay attention to, not isolated moments, but patterns, because patterns reveal intention, and intention reveals interest. So when you see a man consistently showing up, making time, initiating and investing without needing to be pushed, don't overlook it or question it unnecessarily, because effort like that isn't accidental. It's a choice. And just when you think you've understood his confidence, his presence, his consistency, there's one more layer that often surprises people, because even the most composed, self-assured man can become just a little different around someone he genuinely likes. It's subtle. It's not always obvious. But if you're paying attention, you'll catch it. There's a slight shift in his behavior when you enter the picture. Maybe he speaks a little faster than usual or pauses longer than he normally would, choosing his words more carefully. Maybe he laughs a bit more, even at things that aren't that funny. Or there's a moment where he seems unsure of what to do with his hands, his posture, his energy. And this isn't weakness. It's not a lack of confidence. It's actually the opposite. It's emotional investment showing through the cracks. Because when a man truly cares about how he comes across to you, there's something at stake. Your opinion matters. Your reaction matters. And that awareness creates a kind of pressure, even if it's a quiet one. He wants to make a good impression, and that desire can make him act slightly outside of his usual rhythm. You might notice him trying a little harder than he does with others, putting more thought into what he says, how he says it, how he presents himself. It's not forced. It's just that he's more aware, more tuned in, more conscious of the moment. Sometimes it shows up as nervous energy, a small fidget, a quick adjustment, a shift in posture. Other times it's in the way he becomes a bit more reserved, like he's holding back just enough to not say the wrong thing. And then in another moment, he might swing the other way, becoming more talkative, more animated, trying to keep the interaction alive. What's important is the contrast, how he is around you versus how he is around everyone else, because that difference is where the truth lives. Around others, he might be completely relaxed, predictable, steady, but around you, there's a spark, something slightly unpredictable, slightly heightened. His energy changes, even if just a little, and that change is a reflection of how much your presence affects him. You may even catch those brief moments where he breaks character, a quick smile he tries to hide, a glance that lingers a second too long, a reaction that feels a bit more genuine than polished. Those are the moments where his guard drops, where what he feels slips through naturally. And here's the key. People don't get nervous about things that don't matter to them. That slight tension, that shift in behavior, that extra effort to get it right, it only shows up when there's something real behind it. So instead of expecting perfection, instead of looking for someone who is completely smooth and unaffected, start noticing those imperfections, the small human moments where he's just a little off balance, just a little more aware, just a little more invested, because those moments are honest, they're unfiltered, they can't be rehearsed or controlled the way words can. And when you see that nervous energy mixed with genuine effort, when you notice that he's not entirely the same around you as he is with everyone else, don't misread it. Because sometimes the clearest sign that someone is into you is that they can't be completely normal around you. And that's when you know it's real.